Hello everyone! In today's video, we're once again going to discuss some very interesting information. This time, it's all about weapon skins. As always, everything covered in this video comes from sources that are generally considered credible within the leak community. But before we get into the main discussion, running out of Stellar Jade and Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Alright, let's jump right into today's topic. In the previous video, we took a comprehensive look at Robin Summers' early kit, including several of her unique gameplay mechanics. If you haven't watched that discussion yet, I highly recommend checking it out first. Today, however, we're shifting to a completely different topic that's just as interesting. We're not talking about character skins this time. Instead, we'll be discussing weapon skins, or more accurately, what's currently being referred to as DLC weapons. So without further ado, let's get started. We actually talked about DLC weapons around 3 weeks ago. That video also covered the rumored Hyacinth and Evanescia skins expected to arrive in version 4.5. However, our previous discussion wasn't complete. At the time, we only talked about Acheron's DLC weapon. We didn't know when it would be released, and more importantly, we didn't know which other characters would eventually receive the same treatment. So today, let's take a closer look. Before we discuss the latest updates, let's quickly refresh everyone's memory about what a DLC weapon actually is, since some of you may have forgotten, or perhaps this is your first time hearing about the concept. The idea of DLC weapons first appeared through data mining conducted by Sakura Haven. During that data mine, they discovered a new item called Stellar Couture, which initially appeared to be nothing more than a weapon skin for Acheron. That information was later addressed by Mortis. Mortis confirmed that Sakura Haven's findings were essentially correct, but added one important clarification. This isn't simply a cosmetic weapon skin. Instead, it's more accurate to describe it as a DLC weapon. The reason is simple. This item reportedly affects the actual gameplay and kit of the character using it rather than serving as a purely visual upgrade. Even more interesting is the fact that it apparently won't be obtainable for free. Players will need to purchase it in some form. Now let's move on to the biggest question. When will these DLC weapons actually release? And which characters will receive them? About a month ago, specifically on May 23rd, Yubacha speculated that Acheron's DLC weapon would arrive during the version 4.4 beta alongside the 4th Nova Flare. However, Mortis later dismissed that speculation. He stated that version 4.4 would not include Acheron's DLC weapon. And as it turned out, he was absolutely right. The version 4.4 beta only introduced Himiko Nova, Rin, and Gilgamesh. There was no 4th Nova Flare and no DLC weapon. Mortis later provided a much clearer update through another post. According to him, Acheron's DLC weapon is indeed scheduled to release sometime during 2026. However, it won't be part of version 4.4. That means it could potentially arrive in version 4.5, 4.6, or even 4.7. But here's where things become even more surprising. Mortis also stated that Acheron won't be the only character receiving a DLC weapon. The first DLC weapon package is expected to include 3 characters simultaneously, with Acheron being just one of them. As for pricing, Mortis admitted that Hoyoverse hasn't finalized the monetization model yet. The DLC weapons could potentially be purchased using stellar jades, cash, or oniric shards. There's even a possibility that players may be allowed to choose one for free, although the entire system itself won't necessarily be completely free. One thing that does seem certain is that these DLC weapons will both modify character animations and directly affect their gameplay. Naturally, that leads to the next big question. Who are the other two characters joining Acheron in this first DLC weapon package? Since these are DLC weapons, it's reasonable to assume they'll be given to characters who are already available in Honkai, starrail. More specifically, they would likely target older characters whose performance has started falling behind the current meta. After all, the whole purpose of introducing these upgrades would presumably be to revitalize older units. Yubacha later tried to predict the remaining candidates. He suggested 5 possible characters, all originating from the version 1.x era: Dr. Ratio, Fu Xian, Dan Heng Imbibitor Luni, Luo Cha, and Jing Yuan. Mortis eventually replied to that speculation. Based on his response, many players concluded that the other two characters joining Acheron in the first DLC weapon package are most likely Dan Heng Imbibitor Luni and Jing Yuan. If that's true, it also means Dr. Ratio, Fu Shen, and Luo Cha won't be included in the first wave. And that immediately raises another interesting question. Could a DLC weapon finally push Jing Yuan back into the top tiers of the meta? Personally, though, I still hope these DLC weapons end up being purely cosmetic. I'd much rather see them function like Cyrene's bow skin, which simply changes animations and visual effects without affecting gameplay performance. If Hoyoverse truly intends to release paid DLC weapons that provide actual gameplay advantages, I honestly think there's a much healthier way to implement them. Instead of selling them directly for cash, I believe they should be obtainable through a gacha system using stellar jades. Essentially, they could function similarly to signature light cones or eidolons. That way, free-to-play players who save enough stellar jades would still have a realistic opportunity to obtain them without spending money directly, while paying players could still acquire them more quickly. Of course, stellar jades themselves can ultimately be purchased with real money. But I think you understand the point I'm trying to make. So what do you think about the idea of DLC weapons? Would you be okay with them being sold directly as paid content? Or would you rather see them implemented through a gacha system that's accessible to every player? Let me know your opinions and predictions in the comments below. And with that, we've reached the end of today's discussion. Thank you all so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to share it with your fellow Honkai, starrail players so they can stay up to date with the latest information as well. Your support through likes and subscriptions means a lot and helps this channel continue creating informative content in the future. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next discussion.